Justice for Dominique!
He's done a monstrous crime. He has done a crime that he needs to be locked away and thrown away and, put away 21, 24, and 7 actually. He has done something to just rock my world, and I'll never be able to get over my daughter lost until he's put away.
Dominique Lomax was a young woman trying to find her way in life. Her life appeared ordinary from the outside, but behind closed doors, she was entangled in a relationship that would soon expose a disturbing secret. Friends describe her as quiet, cautious, and loyal. Yet, the events leading up to her final hours will reveal how manipulation and deceit can turn deadly. It began with a meeting that was supposed to be harmless, a simple exchange arranged by someone she trusted most. But the plan quickly turned into something far more sinister. Surveillance footage, phone records, and witness statements would later uncover a sequence of decisions that trapped Dominique in a situation she could never escape. What really happened during that meeting? Who was the man she went to see, and what was promised in return? Most importantly, why did her boyfriend, the person meant to protect her, play a role in leading her there? As investigators pieced together the trail she left behind, the truth would point to a chilling setup driven by greed, control, and betrayal. But many still wonder, was this a premeditated plan or a deal gone wrong? The story of Dominique Lomax is not just about one crime. It's about how silence, secrets, and power can destroy a life in plain sight. If you are drawn to true crime stories that reveal hidden truths, we invite you to subscribe. Your support enables us to share real cases, raise awareness, and give a voice to those who can no longer speak for themselves. Before we begin, tell us in the comments where you are watching from, and share your thoughts as the story unfolds. Welcome to Spotlight Crime, a place where we examine cases that shake communities and reveal what often remains hidden behind closed doors. Real stories, real people, real impact. Subscribe today and turn on notifications so you won't miss what comes next. Dominique Lomax was a 23-year-old woman from Detroit, Michigan. She lived in a modest apartment complex on the east side of the city. Raised in a working-class household, she was the second of 3 siblings. Her parents, both employed in local service jobs, describe her as independent and determined to improve her situation. Dominique attended public schools in Detroit and graduated from high school before working various part-time jobs, including retail and food service. At the time of the incident, she was between jobs and occasionally relied on financial help from her boyfriend. Friends said she kept to herself, rarely discussing personal struggles. She was known to post on social media, mainly sharing music, quotes, and photos of herself.
Public announcement to anybody that ever associates with me and my family. We do not and ain't celebrating any holiday.
Her online presence appeared normal, giving no indication of what was happening behind closed doors. She lived alone in a small one-bedroom apartment, but spent much of her time at her boyfriend's residence. Those who knew her said she was trying to stabilize her life and was considering returning to school. However, in the months before her death, friends noticed a shift. She seemed withdrawn and anxious, often taking calls privately and avoiding questions about her relationship. The sequence leading to the fatal meeting began several days before Dominique's death. According to digital records and witness statements, her boyfriend initiated contact with a man he referred to as a friend who could help. Investigators later identified this man as someone involved in small-scale drug trade and other questionable activities. Communication between the boyfriend and this man revealed a discussion involving a favor and possible payment in exchange for Dominique's company. The conversation suggested that Dominique was being offered to meet the man under the pretense of a friendly introduction, but underlying messages indicated a transactional intent. Text messages between Dominique and her boyfriend showed he convinced her to attend the meeting, assuring her it was harmless and that it could lead to future opportunities. There was no evidence she knew the real purpose of the arrangement. Investigators later determined that the meeting was set up in exchange for money and other favors promised to the boyfriend. Dominique agreed reluctantly, possibly due to pressure or a lack of awareness of what she was walking into. The meeting was scheduled for the evening at a location on the west side of Detroit, an apartment belonging to a man she was supposed to meet. On the day of the meeting, Dominique left her apartment around 5 p.m. Surveillance footage captured her entering her boyfriend's vehicle roughly 15 minutes later. Witnesses in the neighborhood recalled seeing them drive off together. The boyfriend told police he dropped her off at a gas station near the meeting location, claiming she planned to meet someone for a quick talk. However, surveillance footage from nearby businesses contradicted his timeline. It showed him parking near the apartment complex where the meeting took place and waiting there for several minutes. Dominique was last seen entering the apartment of the man she had been arranged to meet around 6:20 p.m. According to phone records, her last outgoing message was sent at 6:27 p.m. After that, her phone stopped transmitting data. Hours later, the boyfriend allegedly texted her several times with no response. He told investigators he became worried and went home, but records indicated he never attempted to contact police or family members. Dominique's body was discovered 2 days later in an abandoned lot several miles from the meeting location. The medical examiner confirmed she had suffered blunt force trauma and other injuries consistent with assault. Her belongings were missing and her phone had been destroyed. When police arrived at the scene, they found limited physical evidence. There were tire marks near where her body was found, but no usable fingerprints or weapons recovered. Detectives interviewed the boyfriend immediately due to his connection to her last known movements. His initial statement claimed that he had dropped her off to meet a female friend. However, inconsistencies in his timeline and his delayed report of her disappearance drew suspicion. Investigators obtained warrants for his phone and social media accounts. Data analysis revealed communications between him and the man she met, including deleted messages referencing the meeting and payment. Bank records showed the boyfriend received a transfer shortly after the incident. Forensic searches of his car revealed traces of blood on the rear seat fabric that matched Dominique's DNA profile. In addition, GPS data contradicted his statement about returning home early. His phone location placed him near the area where Dominique's body was discovered shortly after the time she was last active online. Autopsy findings confirmed the assault occurred close to the time she was last seen. The medical report established the cause of death as homicide due to multiple blunt force injuries. Forensic technicians recovered a series of text messages between Dominique and her boyfriend showing increasing pressure for her to go to the meeting. In one exchange, she expressed hesitation, saying she was uncomfortable. His responses indicated persuasion, insisting it was safe and nothing bad would happen. Further analysis uncovered deleted messages between the boyfriend and the man involved, referring to payment arrangements. One message read, "She'll be there by 6. Another message sent after the meeting stated, "It's done," followed by a discussion about money owed. Social media records showed the boyfriend had searched for how to delete phone data permanently shortly after Dominique's disappearance. Investigators also retrieved phone tower pings that placed both men near the meeting site at the same time. Evidence suggested that Dominique was unaware of the full arrangement. The digital trail confirmed that she had not initiated contact with the man she was meeting, and there were no prior communications between them. This collection of data, texts, calls, and deleted records became central to proving premeditation and motive. Multiple witnesses were interviewed during the investigation. Friends of Dominique told police that in the days leading up to the meeting, she had been nervous and mentioned her boyfriend asking her to help him out with something. She didn't elaborate, but appeared uneasy about it. Neighbors from the apartment complex where she lived reported seeing her leave that evening dressed casually, carrying a small purse. One witness confirmed seeing her get into her boyfriend's car. The man who owned the apartment where the meeting took place initially denied involvement, but later admitted that Dominique had been there briefly. His account claimed she left unharmed, but inconsistencies in his timeline and physical evidence contradicted that version. Relatives described the boyfriend's behavior after Dominique's disappearance as unusually calm. He did not join the family in searching for her and avoided communication. When questioned about her whereabouts, his statements varied. Additional witness statements revealed that he had spoken about financial problems in the weeks before the crime. Investigators concluded that these issues were a likely motive behind the arrangement. By the time all evidence was reviewed, digital records, physical findings, and witness testimony, investigators built a timeline connecting the boyfriend's communications, financial transactions, and actions before and after Dominique's death. This led to his arrest and formal charges for his role in orchestrating the meeting that resulted in her murder. The case exposed a calculated setup rooted in manipulation, leading investigators to uncover a pattern of exploitation and deceit that ultimately ended Dominique Lomax's life. The turning point in the investigation came when detectives reviewed Dominique Lomax's digital trail. In the days following her death, investigators initially treated the case as a possible robbery or random act of violence. However, inconsistencies in her boyfriend's statements soon shifted the direction of the inquiry. He claimed that Dominique left home to meet a friend for a brief errand, but phone records indicated continuous communication between the two up until minutes before her death. Detectives retrieved Dominique's text messages and call logs, which showed she had received instructions from her boyfriend regarding the meeting. He had told her where to go and who to meet, describing the encounter as a favor that would help them both. The tone of his messages suggested familiarity and expectation, indicating prearrangement rather than coincidence. Forensic analysis of her phone revealed deleted messages recovered through cloud backups. These messages included discussions about financial favors and references to helping someone out in exchange for benefits. The recovered data suggested she had been pressured into attending the meeting. Investigators also tracked surveillance footage from nearby stores and traffic cameras near the meeting location. Video evidence confirmed that Dominique arrived at the destination as described in her messages. Minutes later, another vehicle linked to the man she was supposed to meet appeared. However, the footage also captured her boyfriend's vehicle passing through the same area shortly before and after the incident, contradicting his claim that he was elsewhere. Location data from his mobile phone placed him within a 1-mile radius of the crime scene at the estimated time of death. Combined with the deleted communication, this evidence formed the basis for probable cause. A forensic review of Dominique's phone and social media accounts exposed additional layers of manipulation. Investigators found that the boyfriend had accessed her accounts multiple times, deleted certain messages, and attempted to control her online activity. The digital pattern, timeline alignment, and forensic consistency indicated deliberate planning rather than spontaneous involvement. The final piece connecting him to the crime came from financial records. Transfers and digital payments between the boyfriend and the man she was sent to meet showed coordination. These payments occurred just hours before the meeting. When cross-referenced with timestamps from phone data and surveillance footage, the sequence illustrated a setup orchestrated by the boyfriend for material benefit. The arrest took place approximately 2 weeks after Dominique's death. Detectives located the boyfriend at a relative's residence after tracking his phone activity and observing his online movements. He was taken into custody without resistance. Upon arrest, investigators seized his mobile devices, laptop, and vehicle for examination. During interrogation, he initially maintained that he had no knowledge of the circumstances leading to Dominique's death. He stated that she acted independently and that he was not present during the meeting. However, when confronted with digital evidence, his narrative began to shift. Investigators presented the location data, showing his proximity to the scene, as well as messages retrieved from his phone detailing arrangements made with the second man. The inconsistencies grew when he was questioned about financial transfers. Records showed that money was sent shortly before and immediately after the incident. His explanations lacked clarity and changed multiple times, leading detectives to suspect concealment. Through forensic analysis, investigators determined that he had deleted several conversations shortly after Dominique's body was discovered. The deletions occurred within minutes of police publicly reporting her death, further suggesting an attempt to eliminate evidence. A key moment came when the suspect's communications with the second man were fully recovered. These revealed explicit references to arranging a meeting involving Dominique. Investigators also uncovered that he had contacted multiple acquaintances, attempting to create an alibi timeline. When pressed, he eventually admitted to arranging the meeting, but claimed he did not expect violence to occur. He described it as a misunderstanding that escalated beyond his control. Law enforcement viewed this as a partial confession, acknowledging involvement but denying intent. Further questioning identified another associate who had facilitated communication between the two men. That associate was later brought in for questioning and charged with aiding and abetting. The cooperation of this individual provided prosecutors with more context, confirming that the boyfriend acted knowingly and purposefully in setting up the meeting. Formal charges were filed against the boyfriend for second-degree murder, human trafficking, and conspiracy to commit assault resulting in death. The co-defendant faced lesser charges for participation in the arrangement and obstruction of justice. During the preliminary hearings, prosecutors presented the digital evidence, including text messages, call logs, bank transfers, and surveillance footage. The prosecution emphasized premeditation, highlighting that the suspect had both motive and control over the sequence of events. They argued that his actions directly placed Dominique in danger, and that the arrangement was made with the expectation of personal gain. The defense countered that the suspect had no intention of causing harm. They claimed he believed the meeting would be safe and that the other individual acted independently. They also argued that the digital communications were taken out of context and that the financial exchanges were unrelated. During trial proceedings, forensic experts testified about the accuracy of digital tracking and recovery methods. Their testimony confirmed that the deleted messages and data were authentic and unaltered. The prosecution presented a timeline showing every major event leading up to Dominique's death, establishing that each action was deliberate and coordinated. After several weeks of testimony and presentation of evidence, the jury reached a verdict. The boyfriend was found guilty on all major charges, including murder and trafficking-related offenses. The co-defendant received a reduced sentence following cooperation with the authorities. The main suspect was sentenced to life imprisonment without the possibility of parole. The case received significant public attention due to its disturbing nature and the involvement of someone the victim trusted. Local news outlets covered every development, emphasizing the theme of exploitation within intimate relationships. Commentators discussed the use of digital evidence as a turning point in solving the case. Community members expressed concern about the vulnerability of young women in manipulative relationships. Public discussions focused on how digital communication can both conceal and expose criminal activity. Online forums analyzed the timeline, speculating about earlier warning signs and missed opportunities for intervention. Dominique's family issued statements urging awareness about coercive control and exploitation. They called for stronger protective measures for individuals who may be manipulated or trafficked under false pretenses. Vigils were held in her memory, emphasizing the importance of vigilance in personal relationships. This case highlighted the intersection of digital technology, manipulation, and exploitation. It demonstrated how control can extend beyond physical boundaries through online communication and surveillance. Law enforcement agencies used the case as a study to train officers on identifying coercive digital patterns. Analysts noted parallels between this and other cases where personal relationships were used as leverage for material gain. The case also sparked policy discussions about monitoring and preventing human trafficking activities disguised as consensual interactions. The broader issue raised was how individuals in controlling relationships may not recognize signs of exploitation until it becomes irreversible. The investigation underscored the need for early intervention tools, awareness programs, and support systems for victims before situations escalate. How could Dominique have recognized the warning signs in time? Did the boyfriend plan the entire event from the start, or did it evolve from manipulation? What role did digital evidence play in exposing the truth? Were there others aware of the situation who failed to report it? Could stricter oversight or early reporting have prevented the outcome? If this story has kept your attention, do not forget to like this video and share it with others. For more true crime stories that uncover the mysteries behind tragic events, subscribe to our channel and activate the notification bell to stay updated with our latest investigations, reports, and discussions. Thank you for joining us in this pursuit of truth and justice. Together, we can shed light where darkness remains. Until next time, stay safe and stay vigilant.